Howdy folks, and welcome back to Woody's Corner. This is my fourth video on my little health series talking about my condition. And if you've looked at the other videos, I described kind of what happened, with the blood clot and having a mini stroke, and then, then getting a diagnosis of low ejection fraction in my heart. And because of all that and the lack of any improvement with the medications I was on, I had to get an implant defibrillator. So I have an ICD, and third video talked about getting that and a little bit more education about what those are and what they do for your heart. So I thought I'd kind of conclude a fourth video to basically kind of recap what it's like living with an ICD now that I can say that. So made a little list here of a few things, and the main thing, I guess, is just obviously you feel it. It's right there. It kind of sticks through my shirt a little bit. I notice it probably more when I'm sleeping, like when you are on your left side. Kind of notice it. I tend to not really want to stay in that position very long. I'll notice it a little bit on my other side too, but mostly just when I'm on my left side. I also I talked about the visual effect of the blood clot, and that was temporary, but to this day I do still have this little floater type of thing. It's not really like I notice it all the time. Certain backgrounds, it seems like it'll kind of come out a little bit more. So I still have a little bit of that, and after this many months, we're 9 months in now, it's probably something I'll just always have to deal with. Ever since I went on Entresto, I've read about this online, I had a noticeable ringing in my ear kind of sound. So it's tinnitus. It's not super loud, but it's there. It's there all the time. And I assume, I asked my cardiologist, it seems like they're familiar with, I think Entresto has a side effect. Some people have that. So I do have a little tinnitus. I don't really notice the heart flutters as much. Of course, I've adjusted some of my diet, my beverage consumption, those things. But the medications, all of that. And it could be the pacing of what it's doing in there all the time, but I definitely don't notice that as much, so that's good. I was thinking back, and it was something I was noticing quite a bit. There was one night I was laying there, sitting up, watching another movie on the iPad actually, and it only lasted like maybe 10 seconds, 8 to 10 seconds, but I felt like I was feeling something, and I thought, is this the device doing something? Is my heart doing something? And I started to sort of feel my body had this sensation. I don't even know how to describe it, but it was almost like, it wasn't quite, something was happening very quick, and then all of a sudden it was gone. And so I have this Merlin monitor over there next to the bed, and of course any events that this thing captures, it talks to that. And every night there's a cellular download over to the doctor's office. And, if they saw something, they would call me at some point. So I don't know. I never got a call, so I don't know what it was. It was just a weird sensation, and probably my mind playing tricks on me now. When you first are heading into getting one of these, and, you're watching videos and reading about it and all that, and one of the things that does cross your mind is like, God, what if this thing went faulty and accidentally shocked at me? Because when you get shocked, they say it's like getting kicked by a horse. So, there's a little bit of a worry in your mind, honestly, about that. Like, what if something accidentally happens? Like, what if you're driving down the road and, get shocked when it really shouldn't? I guess that's probably a rarity. It's not something I'm thinking about anymore, but, those are just little things when you first go into this. I'm active of course, after I got past 4 weeks and then some, I mean, I've got more active, but I mean, like last night, I did the full yard workup as far as weed eating, right behind it, mowing, and then blowing all the yard. So a good workout when I do it, and it was hot out, and like I say, I feel like I'm back to normal as far as my activities like that. I'm not necessarily going to go really lift something really heavy. I mean, unless I have to, but like, not in a hurry to do that right now. But I mean, the flexibility and everything feels good. The shoulder in this area, wherever they went through, it did kind of affect, I thought, the strength of the shoulder a little bit longer. It took a little longer to kind of get that, come back to normal, I guess. But all that's good, very active. When I'm driving, that seatbelt comes right through here, and I just don't like the thought of if I had something happen and the pressure of that seatbelt pushing on it. So I'm finding that I'm putting my seatbelt, running it under the arm here, and it just feels more comfortable. Now, I also play guitar. My guitar strap comes right down over that, and I haven't really noticed, I haven't played that much lately, but I haven't really noticed it bother me. So something like a guitar strap, it's okay. I'm going to show a picture of my blood pressure graph, really for the last 12 months, mainly just to illustrate, kind of where it was at. It's been higher than what that'll show 12 months back. It's been higher than that in places, but that's kind of where I was at. And then what you see is the abrupt drop off from the medications, and I mean and then it's leveled off and stayed virtually right in that area. So thought I'd show that. The surgery costs. Not exactly sure how much this stuff was supposed to cost. I mean, with my insurance and my health savings plan, I mean, basically I have a max output every year of $6,500. So, I mean, the most any of it this is going to cost me this year is that $6,500. But it's interesting. I'm seeing these costs come through on paperwork from the insurance that would indicate the providers they're trying to say it costs $395,000. That's actually over $400,000. And when I called the insurance about it, they're like, well, it's kind of the game. They'll submit much very expensive bills, but I mean, there's a negotiated rate, obviously, with the insurance company and all that through my company and everything, and it'd be some majorly discounted price, I'm sure. And then I'm only subject to pay, the max out of pocket that I have. So I'm still kind of waiting for that to kind of get squared away. But right now, that's what it's showing. I've seen it actually a couple different times come through, and it's like $100,000. Crazy. It's crazy. And, let's see. I didn't really mention it, but, I did mention there was some lifting restrictions right after I had the procedure, of course, for the first week for sure. I'm not supposed to do anything. Don't raise your arm above. Really just don't do anything. And then really for the next 4 weeks, really taking it easy. So again, there was a 4-week period there to do the right thing and make sure you don't disrupt that thing and the leads. Then getting toward the end here, I did have a first 1 month follow-up after the procedure with my cardiologist, and they did the interrogation of the Abbott device, because it hadn't been talking with any devices, but there was nothing in there. I hadn't had any events or anything recorded that they found. They did set me up with the Merlin monitor. Again, it's just like a big iPad type device, but not really an iPad, but it's just plugged in. They set it up to have a cell connection, and it's configured to talk to my device, obviously. And I think every night between 10 p.m. and 2 a.m. it's talking back to the office if it has anything to report. So that's interesting. If I go on like a 1-week vacation, there's really not a need necessarily to pack it up and take it with me. I mean, maybe if you were going to be gone extended, you might want to. But they also said, look, if you have an event of some type, you're going to probably know it. You're probably in the emergency room anyway. So, but anyway, there's that. In my device, because of the third lead and the pacing that it's really always doing, the battery life probably will be shorter. I think on pacemakers, the battery can probably last, I think they said, I don't know, 10 years, let's say, before they have to open you up again and replace the battery. But mine, it's probably more like 7 years because it's just doing a lot more all the time. So, it's something you have to obviously plan to go get opened up again. But it's obviously a quicker kind of thing, It's right there, and they're able to replace the battery and stitch you back up, send you on your way. So then I think the last thing was, I was thinking about getting. They gave me a card for the Abbott device, right? And it had all of the information on it. In case, and they want you to carry that everywhere you go, right? In case something happens and someone needs to know what you have inside you. But I wanted more than just that information as far as carrying around. Then I was thinking about how to carry it around. So I actually was looking at the jewelry. You get, you can get like bracelets and all these different things. What I opted to use was the, gosh, I forgot to pull it out of here. I'm going to pull it out while I'm talking. To my wallet. But I opted to go with the, it's called My ID. And what's cool about it, I'm just going to flash it here. It's got that QR code. And, and basically a first responder will see this in my wallet. First thing you see at the very top, it says medical information there, right? And it kind of stands up above my other stuff in there, my phone wallet. Well, anyway, my son-in-law is actually a fireman, and I asked him about it. And I said, yeah, we do that. We if the person's not conscious, we'll try to go into their wallet and get whatever, maybe there's some medical information about them there, or if they're wearing a bracelet or whatever. So they do look for that. And the cool thing about this, they can scan this, and this whole profile comes up, and it's right at the top, got this. It's the first thing I have because it's kind of the most important thing I'd want somebody to know. But also a little bit about, there's plenty of places to put more conditions. Then you can also put allergies. You could put your emergency contacts. And I've got everybody in the family, and I've got them in on order that I would want them, to call. And, your medications. I've got all that in there. So that's kind of the main thing. Now, that's free. You have to buy the card. I went to Elegant Medical Jewelry or Elegant, something like that. And I just ordered that card for My ID there. They have all that other kind of, bracelets and everything too, whatever. But you basically order it. It comes with a printed ID number and a PIN number. And then you are given instructions when you get it to go to My ID. It's getmyid.com. If you want to look it up, getmyid.com. You can read about it. But then, you have that ID and the PIN on the card that's connected to the QR code. And then you connect that to an account that you create on getmyid.com. And then that's where you maintain it all. You can do it on the PC, you can do it on your phone, mobile devices. That can be now anywhere. And then, like I say, when they scan it, because you can decide if you want it, the information to be public or not, even parts of it within, whether you want it all public or not. But the whole idea is, hey, you want it public. Scan that, here it comes, there's your picture, they know it's you, and here's all your information. If you can't talk, it's brilliant. Of course, I never really thought about something like this until all this happened, but now I want to talk about it with people, especially if you're getting older and anybody going into the hospital, you're always given all that information anyway. So now you can just scan your own code, pull it up real quick, or log in. Either way, you can do it. And there it all is. So, I'm sure this technology's been out there for a while. It's well protected and secure. But that's pretty cool. So I suggest people research that and look into that option. I think it's going to be, going to be with me now, obviously, the rest of my life. Now, you can also pay, I think it's $2 a month. And then it gives you more expanded stuff in there. Like you can have 10 more categories. You can have documents. You can have, if you had copies of x-rays, any documents, you can have all that uploaded in there and stored and be able to pull it up. That's cool too. You can have, with that, you can also add your doctor information, all your doctors, contacts, all that. That's what the paid one. There was more. I saw a lot of things on that list of additional things that I probably wouldn't necessarily use, but I think others would find it interesting. So definitely check it out. GetMyID.com. Kind of cool. And there's other options. Obviously, there's other companies that do stuff like this. Just with my quick research, I landed on this one, and I liked what I saw, so I went with it. Okay, well, that was it. I was trying to keep this short, but this is the fourth video, the conclusion, and I hope it was interesting for anybody that might find this type of content interesting, whether it applies to you or not, and enjoy kind of talking about it. So, with that, happy trails until we meet again.